Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Speak Up, joined by me today as your host, Reynard Wibowo, but you can call me Reynard. Speak Up? Okay. So, uh, what do I want to discuss today? Oh, that's right. Buddhism. Why do I want to discuss Buddhism? Well, it's because I love learning about other religions. I myself don't have one. I also like learning about mythology and stuff like that, and that sort of coalesced into a hobby of mine, which is learning about other religions. So, why did I specifically choose Buddhism? Well, it just so happens that a lot of the media I consume, um, a lot of media I consume has a lot of Buddhist imagery in them. Like Sekiro, that's a really great game. It has a lot of Buddhist imagery. And so, yeah. So, what is Buddhism? Buddhism is a spiritual and philosophical tradition that focuses on the nature of life and how we go about it, and why suffering exists, and how do we not suffer anymore. At the very core of Buddhism, it teaches us that suffering exists because of attachment and desire, and it can be overcome through understanding oneself and self discipline. So, like every other religion, it teaches its followers to do the right thing. It teaches you to be kind to others and that your actions have consequences. It really teaches you how to behave yourself ethically because if you don't, you'll end up in hell, probably. So, there's two things actually that you should know about Buddhism, and I'll get to it later on in the presentation. But there is what is called the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. So I'll get on with that later in the video. And also, Buddhism originated in India because Siddhartha Gautama, the guy you're seeing in the TV here, is Indian. He's originally Indian. And it quickly spreads across Asia. Also, a couple things to clarify. Buddha is not a god, and it's not a singular entity either. It is a title, and he is more like a teacher and a, I guess, if I were to translate it to the Abrahamic religions, he would be like a Messiah. So, who is Siddhartha Gautama? So, before he was born, his mother actually knew that he was going to be a little bit special. She had a dream about the upcoming baby, and that a white elephant told her that her child would be a very important person. So Siddhartha was born, and the first thing he did was take 7 steps, and with each of those steps, lotus flowers appeared beneath his feet. And he said, "Throughout the heavens and earth, I alone am the honored one." If you've watched Jujutsu Kaisen, a character actually quotes the Buddha. Let's see. Okay, so let's talk about this picture specifically. So, what is this? So, the Buddha, he was always special. He was born as a prince, actually, and all of his life he had been sheltered. He had never gone out of his castle walls. One day, in his youth, he asked his chariot man to bring him outside, take him out to see a couple sights since he never goes out. And so this is what you're looking at. This is him going out of his castle walls. This is his chariot man. I don't remember. This is Siddhartha. So this actually changed his life because the first thing he sees on his way out is an old man. He's never seen an old man before. He has been sheltered his whole life. He has never seen an old man before. So he points at the old man and he asks his chariotman, "Hey, what is that?" He replied, "That is an old man. Everyone will one day get old." And then he sees a sick man right here. He sees a sick man and he points again and he asks the chariotman, "What is that?" The man replied, "That is a sick man. Everyone gets sick at least once in their life." And then he sees a dead man. And then he asks, "Now what is that?" The chariot man replied, "That is a dead man. Everyone will die one day." Because of this revelation, he gets really depressed because he realizes that it doesn't matter who he is. He will one day grow old, get sick, and then die. Until he sees a monk. He points at the monk. He points at the monk and says, "What is that?" The chariot man replies, "That is a monk. He is learning how to escape the suffering of the world." Now, this had a very, very big impact on Siddhartha because he sort of went through a midlife crisis, basically. And because of this, he actually left his wife and son to become a monk. Siddhartha was, I believe, 30 years old when he did this. So he left his wife and child to become a begging monk. So what did he do as a begging monk? He became a monk and he would beg for food to the point where he was really skinny. He was really, really skinny. And he was very miserable because of that. And he figures out that there has to be a golden path. And that's when he sort of realizes that maybe uh, starving yourself isn't a very good idea. Also, Siddhartha is quite possibly a real person who was born in the 5th or 4th century BCE. Um, let's see. All right. So the moment he realized that there might be a middle way, or as he calls it, a golden path, he sets out to uh, be a better version of himself. Uh, Hold on. Okay. So we've gone through his backstory, who he is as a person. Now let's talk about his teachings. So what is the Four Noble Truths? So there's dukkha. Dukkha means the truth of suffering. Samudaya, the truth of the origin or suffering. Nirodha, the truth of the ending or suffering. And Magga, the truth of the path to end the suffering. Those are the Four Noble Truths. It's basically like a guide on how you should go about life. Okay, the so Buddhism is really interesting because um, it a big part of Buddhism is reincarnation. Uh, Siddhartha realizes that once you die, you're gonna get rebirth, and then you're gonna die again, and you're gonna get reborn again 1,000 times. So he asked himself, how do I escape that cycle? The cycle of samsara, that is the cycle of suffering, basically. And that's what the Four Noble Truths are: to live a certain way so you can escape the cycle and eventually be reborn. Or not reborn, but achieve nirvana, to be detached from everything. Let's see. Oh, by the way, this is a Bodhi tree. This is the exact tree. I wouldn't say the exact tree, but this is the tree that uh, Siddhartha achieved enlightenment. So these are the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path. Oh, this is the middle path that I was talking about. So reasonableness and self-immunity. When Siddhartha was starving himself, he realized that this is not the way. Whatever it is, this is not the way, and there has to be a middle path. Okay, so this is the six realms of the Wheel of Life. So all of the worlds you see here are the worlds that you could possibly reincarnate to. I wonder where the this is the human realm. So once you die here, you could either go here or here or here or here or here. It depends on how much karma you have. How much karma you have dictates where you would go, basically. So this one is the hungry ghost realm. Uh, in this realm, you basically become a ghost with tiny eyes and like really big mouths. So you're always hungry. You're in a perpetual state of hunger. We'll skip the hell realm for a second because it's really interesting. So the animal realm. It is said that the people who reincarnate here used to be very ignorant about life. They ignored the suffering of people around them. And in turn, they become animals. Animals who are ignorant to things around them, basically. So demigod realm. So this is really interesting. The demigod realm is basically the lesser version of the god realm, and uh, it depends on how long you live. For example, if you get reincarnated to like a dog or something, you'd probably live only to maybe 30, if you're lucky, 30 years. But if you get reincarnated to the god's realm, you might live for 1,000 years or 4,000 years. It really depends. Now, for hell, this is really interesting because hell has several layers, eight hot hells and eight cold hells. So why is hell necessary? Hell is basically it allows you to get rid of your karma. So once you go through all of these hells, you get zero karma basically. You're a blank slate and you get revived over here. That is why hell is very, very important. Let's see. Samsara. Okay. So nirvana. How do I achieve nirvana? So to achieve nirvana, you basically have to uh live the life that uh wait, where's Buddha? Let's see. Live the life that Buddha lived. This is hell, apparently. Oh, this is King Yama, by the way. He's the guy who runs things in hell. Yeah. Very, very bad. So how do I escape from the cycle of death and rebirth and the escape from samsara? That is this one, nirvana. To live the life that Buddha lived to attain nirvana. And what is nirvana exactly? It depends on who you ask, but nirvana basically just means that you're not particularly attached to anything, which means that you don't have any desire, which means it doesn't lead to suffering. And if a person becomes enlightened, they don't immediately, how do I say this? They don't immediately become a godlike figure or anything. In fact, Siddhartha Gautama, when he achieved enlightenment, still drank, he still ate, he still walked. He was still a pretty normal human. In fact, he died. He died when he was like 80 years old. Now, because Buddhism is such a wide religion, there are many versions of it. The most common one being the Theravada and Mahayana. So Theravada is usually around Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, and Mahayana is focused more on there's a couple parts of it in Indonesia, but it's mostly in China, Japan, and Korea. So between those sects of Buddhism, uh, the differences are like really big. For example, in Mahayana, there's this concept called the Bodhisattva. This, I think, is the Bodhisattva Guanyin. If you've ever watched The Monkey King, this is the Bodhisattva that appears. Whereas in Theravada is more uh, is closely related to the original teachings of the Buddha, basically. Do I have anything else to say? Uh, I think that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for my segment of today's episode of Speak Up. Any questions from the crowd? Yes, I think you have a question. Yes, yes. You have a question.
Wait, wait. God is an angel. Like, no, no, you first.
So, a demigod. Oh, So, a demigod is half god, basically. They're not quite angels. It's kind of weird. Some people call them asuras as well, but yes. So they're like half god, but not as great as like true gods, basically. Yes.
What is the influence of the spread of Buddhists in Asia on local cult, cult, cultures in various countries?
So, the way most religions spread, if I had to give example, like Hinduism or Islam or even Christianity, and in this case Buddhism, it's through merchants. So merchants go to other countries and bring their religions with them as well for trading and whatnot. The Silk Road had a lot to do with that as well. Uh, but because people, how do I say this? But because people, I guess, interpret the meaning of Buddhism in places like Korea, China, and Japan, they have really different perceptions of the religion as well. In fact, I think at some point, uh, Westerners didn't know that people in Korea and Japan and China actually worship the same religion, which is Buddhism, because they're so different apart, basically. And because of that, their religion gets integrated into the local religion. Like, for example, in Japan, that would be Buddhism and Shintoism. In China, that would be Confucianism, Taoism, and then Buddhism. A great example of that would be The Monkey King or Journey to the West. It's a really good example of how those two religions sort of coalesce into this one narrative, basically. Okay. Any other questions, Arza? Next question? Oh, okay.
So, Buddhist is a person, right? Buddhist is a person, right? In Islam, they call him ustaz. Yeah. So, like, like this can, like this. So, what is the process of becoming a Buddha?
So, a little bit of backstory. It's said that in Buddhism, every time a new Buddha comes, it is because the world has forgotten the golden path, basically. So, in this lifetime, in our lifetime, basically, when Siddhartha Gautama became a Buddha, the world was, uh, the world had already forgotten the right path or the golden path. So, I did mention that the Buddha is not a name, it's a title inherited by multiple other individuals. Siddhartha Gautama was just one of those many Buddhas. The Buddha before him actually met his previous life. So I don't remember the name, but the Buddha before Siddhartha came across a peasant who was walking down the road, and there was a puddle in front of him, in front of the Buddha. And so this peasant, not wanting the honored one to dirty his feet, laid his hair on the puddle so that his puddle would cover the his hair would cover the puddle. And the Buddha sees this, and he points at the peasant and he says, "One day you will become the Buddha." And so that man, that peasant, uh, he dedicates his life to the teachings of that Buddha, and he got reincarnated into Siddhartha, basically. Does that answer your question? Oh, so actually, I didn't answer. I didn't quite answer your question. Anyone can be the Buddha. I almost forgot. Everyone can be the Buddha, but there, depending on what version you believe, you can first become what is called a bodhisattva. So a bodhisattva is someone who almost became the Buddha, but decided not to because they want to help others become the Buddha, basically. Like this one, she's a bodhisattva. Before she became a Buddha, she basically said that she wants to help others achieve enlightenment and become the Buddha. And that is what is called a bodhisattva. So yes, everyone can become a Buddha. It's just really hard.
Okay, thank you, Mas Reynard.
Okay, I have a question, but my question a little bit similar with Arza's question. What is difference between Buddha and other religion? And the next, I have a two question, and the next question is, uh, is a Buddha apa ya? Like a Siddhartha Gautama's mindset, or before Siddhartha Gautama's born, is there Buddha?
So yes, there was already a Buddha before he was born. It's just that no one remembers him or his teachings. And whenever that happens, that means a new Buddha is set to appear, basically.
He where he get his mindset that
So Siddhartha personally got his mindset from his own experiences, not from the uh, not from his previous reincarnation. Basically, because he lived as a beggar who had to beg for food, and he was like really skinny, he was miserable. He was miserable, and he thinks to himself, there has to be a better way. There has to be a better way so that I can achieve enlightenment. And that's when he discovers the golden path. He becomes a monk, a proper monk this time, and he basically how do I say this? He
what's meaning a monk?
monk, biksu, a monk, a traveling monk. So he becomes a monk, he becomes a proper monk, and he learns from other monks before him. And basically, long story short, under the Bodhi tree, that is when he gets enlightened. That's your second question, right? Wait, what was your first question? I don't
What
remember.
difference Buddhist between other religions?
In what way?
Huh?
In what way?
In what way? The-
Because Buddhism is like really different from other religions. Uh, for example, in Christianity or Islam, there doesn't exist the concept of reincarnation, right? And in Buddhism, no one actually knows how the world was made. So it's left ambiguous how the world was made because there are no gods. The world just existed, and there you go.
If their reincarnation, and now where is Siddhartha?
Uh, so once he died, remember he achieved nirvana before he died. Once he's dead, well, he's uh one with everything. So he's like everything now. He's not dead, but he's not like, yeah, he's like with everything now basically. So yeah, he has escaped the cycle of samsara, the cycle of suffering basically.
Okay, my question is, where did you learn about Buddhism? Do you meet a person is Buddhist or just search in internet?
Okay, so my father is a Buddhist. My father is a Buddhist, so I didn't actually like ask him about all these things. I just sort of uh I learned as I watched him do stuff. And I also had a Buddhist friend as well. He would he would only really tell me like the interesting parts of Buddhism, like the story of the Buddha, or as I mentioned, the various hells. That's where I got that knowledge from. And outside of that, I did learn from medias like games, TV shows, and YouTube videos. But yeah, it's mostly from the internet actually.
Okay. I have a question. So, as you know, like many of the religion is came from like so in the universe, like in Earth, there's like two type of religion. I mean, like the Abrahamic, like the Christian, Islam, and then the second was like this one. That I think this is for me. It's more like something that you were believe with. It is not like religion for me. But sorry, I'm not claim this um is a truth. But for me, it's Buddhism is like is a more thing that is not on a level like any religion, but it's more like something that you believe. Okay, so I want to know what's make people can have that belief system um, to go into the Buddha, because in a Muslim like many of us we have the rules like the life after. Oh yeah, yeah. So the life after that, and then we called it alam barza, and then after alam barza, we have like many days episodes after that. So that's kind of things that people want to took in people want to take in Islam, because it has like the story. But what's yeah, I think that's a question. Like, what makes people have the belief system of the Buddha? Because in a Buddha, it is only like karma, like, and then. But what's maybe you can answer like in your personal experience. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Eris. Something I want to clarify first is uh there are two different ways of thinking about this. So a lot of Buddhists nowadays, they don't even consider Buddhism a religion anymore. It's more of like a way of thinking, like a way of thinking, like a lifestyle. Um, but yeah, Buddhism has been said to be a very atheistic religion because it doesn't really believe or worship in a god, right? But again, it depends on who's interpreting that because people do worship the Buddha actually. In some parts, people do worship the Buddha and think of it as a religion. And I think one of the reasons why. Hmm? Okay, so basically, the reason why I think a lot of people nowadays gravitate towards Buddhism is because Buddhism, again, it's more of a lifestyle. Like, there's not much you're risking, right? For example, if you believe in Buddhism, you'll die, reincarnate, and then live again. Whereas in most religions, you die forever, basically. So yeah, it doesn't have a lot of personal and heavy costs to your, I guess, well-being and future prospects, because you can just keep trying over and over and over and over again.
So that's the thing that make people wanted to. So that's the thing that when it make a people wanted to.
Okay. Okay, so no more questions from the crowd? No more question. Okay. So, first of all, I'm actually super nervous to be up here because this is the second take and I was like super prepared for the first take. But it is what it is, you know. So, thank you for watching this far into the video. What am I looking at that camera? So, thank you for watching till the end of this video, and if I offend you, don't take it to heart. I was just explaining my view on a religion.
And he's not promoting any religion.
Yes, I'm not promoting any religions. It is up to you as the viewer if they want to become a Buddhist. Um, so yeah, that's all that I have to offer you today. See you in the next episode. Speak up. Okay. Thank you, everyone.